watching Lake Votes 2012. I'm here today with Chief Deputy Mike McDonald, running for Stark County Sheriff. Welcome, Mr. McDonald.
Hi.
Hello. Why are you running for sheriff, and what will you do to reduce the crime rate within Stark County?
Well, I've trained my whole life to do this job. I started as an Explorer Deputy Sheriff when I was 18 years old under George Papadopoulos. He was the sheriff back then. I worked my way to being hired as a reserve deputy sheriff and then was hired as a full-time deputy sheriff. During my tenure at the sheriff's office, which has been 31 years, I've been promoted to every rank that was available. I worked very hard to get those promotions. I worked on the road patrol, I worked in the radio division, I worked in the civil division. I was promoted to sergeant under J. Babe Stern when he was the sheriff. I was promoted to lieutenant and captain under W. Bruce Umpleby when he was the sheriff. And then under Tim Swanson, I was promoted to major and chief deputy. The sheriff has, excuse me, decided to retire, and I'm running for sheriff in hopes of taking his job.
Okay. What will you do to reduce the crime rate within Stark County?
Well, I'm going to change several things. Currently, the Stark County Sheriff's Office has a very small detective bureau. We're the 7th largest county sheriff's office in the state of Ohio, and I believe that we should enhance that detective bureau. We're also in the process right now of enhancing the road patrol. We're hiring people. We had a layoff, and we lost 43 people. 23 of those people did not come back. So we're hiring people right now. Thank God the sales tax passed, and we were able to get some money from the county commissioners to replace those that have left. Our goal is to get our jail up and running to full capacity. We have met a goal of getting it up the count to 400. The next step is to get it to 500 by January. I will accomplish that goal before, if I win, before I take office. The next step, of course, is to get that road patrol built up. Currently, there are 2 to 3 people on the patrol, you know, and that's very dangerous. If you've got an officer in East Greenville, which is at the northwest part of the county, and maybe his backup is in Lexington, that's very dangerous for our officers, and it's not safe for the community. So the goal for me is to get more people on the patrol and get them out patrolling areas where there are few cruisers there.
Okay, and what will you do to ensure that our deputies come home safe each and every day to their families?
Well, again, you need to have backup. You know, in the jail, it's a little bit different. There's times when there's 13, 14, 15 people working on a shift, and we can lock those prisoners down and call for backup. Now, last year when we had the layoffs, I had approximately 8 deputies hurt and corrections officers in the jail because they knew that they could overpower us at any time, and they didn't pull any punches with us. But that's changed now. We've hired some people, and we haven't had any problems in terms of assaults against officers in the jail. And our next goal is to get that patrol beefed up to make sure that they go home safe. That's our biggest concern.
Okay, and what do you suggest to keep the jails at a more manageable level, the jail population?
Well, we do keep the population at a manageable level. Back in April of 2000, we had 6,000 people waiting to serve their time in the Stark County Jail. We were spending $2.1 million a year housing them in other county jails around the state of Ohio. We established a community corrections planning board, and we worked very close with our local judges here. In fact, we had a meeting yesterday morning, and we discussed what we were going to do, what our next plans are going to be. We've closely monitored the jail population. We have not housed a prisoner out of the Stark County Jail since April 11th of 2000. And we have no overcrowding. We have no waiting list. That's gone. So we're probably one of the few jails in the state of Ohio that has no overcrowding problem. And I think that's a direct result of our close working relationship with the judges in this county, our CJIS system in this county, and all the steps that we've taken to eliminate that problem.
Okay, and can you please explain your level of commitment to the new laws associated with texting while driving?
I followed a young lady on the way up here today, and at first I thought she was driving as though she was intoxicated. And I think that law should be followed. And I think what's going on is very dangerous with people trying to text and drive and all those issues. I think it should be strictly enforced.
How closely will you interface with the local police on this issue and others as well?
Well, I will work very close. You know, there's a lot of things that I want to do, working close with other police agencies. For instance, the Canton Police, we are going to work together in terms of using a SWAT team. We have an individual on their SWAT team right now. They are very, very well trained. I see no reason to reinvent my own team. We have our equipment, and I can use the equipment along with them and work together. I also would like to work with other agencies within the county. We have a lot of equipment we can share. I see no reason to, again, reinvent the wheel. I'd like to work close with Hartville and Uniontown. We need to get some officers up here working, and I will work hard to get that done too. But I've got a very, very good relationship with the police chiefs, and I think I'll have no problem in working with them.
Okay, have you ever been the subject of an internal affairs investigation?
Yes. I was accused of releasing a prisoner back 30 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, and took a polygraph test and passed it. In fact, that's kind of why I used a polygraph test now for our background investigations. I was so impressed with what occurred back then. And then the actual subject who committed the incident failed a polygraph, and I was cleared.
Okay, so have you ever received reprimands or suspensions as a result of that investigation?
Well, I did wreck a car one time, and I got a written reprimand for that.
Okay.
You're asking some pretty tough questions there.
Do you feel as though employees should be given wage increases because of job performance, or simply because they've been on the job for another year?
Well, we don't have much of a choice with that. First of all, our employees haven't had a pay raise in 6 years. And we have a union contract, and because we've had no money, they've agreed not to take a pay raise. This year, we're in the middle of negotiations, and once again, they've agreed not to take very much of a pay raise. They are going to get a pay raise, though, next year. They're not going to get any this year. So performance means a lot in terms of evaluations, motivation, who may be promoted, who may not be promoted. That's very important there, but that's as far as that goes.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm Katie Tridhart, and you're watching Lake Television.